Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us. Core to the Transparency, Accountability and Performance Excellence tape trajectory is the NNPC's audited financial statement for 2018, which has been made public. Here's where to check out all the authentic numbers, looking at the bigger picture of attaining world-class player status in the industry. Talking about oil demand recovering, but aviation is not flying high and fast enough. And you'll need all the details. As a matter of fact, I'm Akin Agbijile. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
We see the NNPC as one of the global leaders in terms of publication of accounts and data. And we look to a champion like NNPC to show what others might also do and to follow elsewhere.
Let's take responsibility to stop the spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water for about 20 seconds. Or use a hand sanitizer where water and soap are not available. Cough or sneeze into a tissue and dispose properly. Or cough or sneeze into your elbow.
Avoid large gatherings. Keep physical contact to no less than 2 meters and wear a mask whenever you are in a public space.
Clean all surfaces frequently with disinfectants. Stay in your state. If you've traveled across states or just returned from a trip abroad, self-isolate for 14 days. And if you develop symptoms like frequent cough, sneezing, fever, or shortage of breath, call your state emergency number or NCDC's toll-free number on 0800 97 00 0010. Take responsibility. Do it for yourself and the rest of us. This message is brought to you by the NCDC and funded by the NNPC IPPG team, an association of indigenous oil and gas producing companies.
Thursday, 11th June 2020 would remain indelible in the annals of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC). It was a day, in all intents and purposes, the national oil company erased all doubts about its total commitment to transparency and accountability in its business transactions as it published for the first time its comprehensive audited financial statements (AFS). It complies with President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to accountability and transparency. The no-holds-barred publication of the corporation's 2018 AFS is, however, not fortuitous. In his maiden statement on assumption of office on 8 July 2019, the NNPC Group Managing Director Malam Kyari stated unequivocally that the corporation's business dealings and governance under his watch would be accountable to the 200 million Nigerians whom he believes are the true stakeholders of the company. Transparency, he explained at the ceremony marking his assumption of office, would be his watchword. He followed this pronouncement up by rolling out a program known as TAPE, TAPE, Transparency, Accountability and Performance Excellence, which has become the operating guideline and a way of doing business in the corporation. The publication of the 2018 AFS of the corporation is therefore a promise fulfilled.
At the very beginning, we are going to focus on the expectations of Nigerians. Every Nigerian expects this company to be accountable, to be transparent, to be able to deliver petroleum products without difficulty. They expect us to create employment for our country. They expect us to deliver on gas, so that at the end of the day, it becomes a national oil company that we're all proud of.
The full disclosure of the corporation's books involved those of 19 strategic business units (SBUs) and the Corporate Services Unit (CSU). Even as the NNPC affirmed that its 2019 audited financial statement was already being prepared and expected to be ready in a couple of months. For a company most maligned for opacity in recent past, the publication of NNPC's books is a big deal. Any wonder that the extractive industry's watchdogs across the world have touted the feat as a glorious example worthy of emulation. Extractive Industries Transparency International's EITI Executive Director, Mr. Mark Robinson, declared no sooner than the NNPC AFS was made public that the development came at a record time, commending the National Oil Company as setting a new standard of reporting. Robinson's praise of NNPC was posted on the global body's official Twitter handle. In Nigeria, NNPC's disclosure of its books has not gone unheralded. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI, has described as laudable the decision of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, to make public its audited account for the first time in its history with the publication of its 2018 audited financial statement on its website. NEITI acknowledges that the development fulfilled a pledge made by the GMD, Malam Mele Kyari, to the management of NEITI at a meeting on 6 August 2019, a pledge which Mr. Kyari reiterated on 25 November 2019 during official visit to Nigeria of Mr. Mark Robinson, the Executive Director of the Global AET. It stated that during the August 2019 advocacy meeting, the NEITI management had urged the then new GMD of NNPC to consider demonstrating his espoused commitment to transparency by making public the corporation's audited account. Mr. Kyari acceded to the request on the spot.
Mr. Kyari's leadership, the NNPC, has a very powerful commitment to transparency and accountability. It really does symbolize, I think, what you hope to achieve in the next few years under your leadership. And it very much, of course, aligns with what the EITI is about globally.
NEITI Executive Secretary Mr. Waziri Adio said the organization welcomed the eventual fulfillment of the pledge and obligation, saying given NNPC's antecedents and its prominent role in the sector and in the country, the publication of its audited account was positive, signaling more openness for the oil and gas sector and for Nigeria.
NNPC is administering the resources on behalf of Nigerians. And he has an obligation to disclose to Nigerians because Nigerians are the shareholders. So that's also what we're about.
NEITI stated that it was working closely with the NNPC in this direction through a joint committee on remediation and mainstreaming. The committee set up by the two organizations was tasked with the responsibility of examining the status of legacy. On his part, Senator Basi Akman, Chairman Senate Committee Upstream, said the recently published audited financial statements of the NNPC underscored the readiness of the management of the National Oil Company to pursue transparency, good governance, and accountability in the petroleum industry.
The recently published financial statement report of the corporation also goes a long way to underscore the readiness of the new management under the GMD, Mele Kyari, towards pursuing transparency, good governance, and also accountability.
In all, 19 entities of the corporation registered under the Companies and Allied Matters Act as amended, and the National Petroleum Investment Management Services NAPIMS had their books published on the NNPC website. The 2018 NNPC's AFS posted positives in many of the National Oil Company's upstream going concerns. The statement also indicated that the National Petroleum Investment Management Services NAPIMS posted revenue of 5.04 trillion naira in 2018 and profit of 1.01 trillion naira, with total assets under the portfolio of the services unit valued at 18.6 trillion naira. A perusal of the AFS for the year ended December 31, 2018 of the National Engineering and Technical Company NETCO, an upstream subsidiary of the corporation, indicated a profit after tax of over 4.5 billion naira, a remarkable improvement from the previous year record of over 2.4 billion naira. Integrated Data Services Limited IDSL, an NNPC subsidiary in charge of acquisition and interpretation of seismic data, posted a total comprehensive income of about 3.2 billion naira with profit of about 154 million naira within the period. The AFS of the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company NPDC indicated a profit after tax of over 179.1 billion naira, which comes at significant improvement from the 2017 profit of over 157.4 billion naira. During the period, NPDC posted a revenue of over 1.3 trillion naira compared to the 2017 revenue of over 882.3 billion naira. The AFS indicated that the NNPC's flagship subsidiary has a total asset of over 5.3 trillion naira within the period, compared to the 4.007 trillion naira asset recorded in 2017. On its part, the Nigerian gas company NGC recorded a profit after tax of over 13.2 billion naira with a comprehensive annual income of about 19.9 billion naira. The AFS also valued the NGC total assets in 2018 as over 251.7 billion naira compared to 196 billion naira in 2017. It is undeniable that the 2018 NNPC's AFS revealed some challenges in the midstream subsidiaries of the corporation, most significantly in the refineries located in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna, where losses were recorded, unsurprisingly because of their long downtime. It is nonetheless reassuring that the corporation has commenced the process of a comprehensive diagnostic assessment of the refineries that will culminate into their thorough rehabilitation, starting with Port Harcourt and Warri refineries. In addition, proposals to change refineries' business models to that similar to Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited's NLNG, which has been a success story over the years, is also afoot. In the downstream sector, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company PPMC, for the first time, recorded gross profit of 24.3 billion naira in the year under review, while NNPC Retail Limited posted profit after tax of over 2.2 billion naira compared to the 1.8 billion naira recorded in the preceding year. It should also be noted that there existed a seemingly wide gap between NAPIM's revenue and profit for the year as contained in the NNPC's AFS. Noteworthy again is the fact that NNPC and its partners are already considering modalities to cap crude oil production cost per barrel at $10 by 2021 in order to ensure that Nigeria benefits more from the nation's hydrocarbon resources. This is a position which the NNPC Group Managing Director Malam Melikeri has made clear at every avenue.
With a focus, with a clear determination, with commitment of all of us, we can do many, many more great things. And there's high hope and expectation, both within the company on all of us, and also from our stakeholders, the owners of the company. They think we can do something different. I know that we'll work together to make sure we don't disappoint them. We don't create any situation of disappointment, and we can't do that except we all work together.
NNPC's entities covered in the 2018 AFS are NAPIMS, IDSL, NPDC, NETCO, Port Harcourt Refining Company PHRC, Warri Refining and Petrochemicals Limited WRPC, Kaduna Refining and Petrochemicals Company KRPC, Duke Oil Services UK Limited, Duke Oil Incorporated and Duke Global Energy Investment Limited, The Wheel Insurance, Petroleum Products Marketing Company PPMC, Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company NPSC, NNPC Retail Limited, and NIDAS UK Agency. Others include NIDAS Shipping Services, NIDAS Marine FS, Nigeria Gas Marketing Company NGMC, Nigeria Gas Company NGC, and NGAS. The NNPC 2018 Comprehensive AFS made available to the public projects a significant progress in institutionalizing transparency and accountability in NNPC, and indeed the oil and gas industry in Nigeria in general. The International Energy Agency IEA expects oil demand to increase by 5.7 million barrels per day in 2021 after plummeting by an average of 8.1 million barrels per day in 2020, the largest annual fall ever. Market Intelligence Department NNPC London office report quoted IEA Executive Director Fatih Birol as saying that any rebound, however, will be contingent upon global economic recovery and avoidance of a second major wave of COVID-19 infection. In its June oil market report, the agency raised its 2020 oil demand forecast by nearly 500,000 barrels per day, to 91.7 million barrels per day, reflecting a strong rebound in Chinese demand in March to April and a recovery in Indian demand in May. That marked the second successive upward revision in the IEA's demand forecast. In April, it had projected that demand would fall by 9.3 million barrels per day this year. The report said that Chinese demand could overtake last year's level by the third quarter of this year. While oil demand in 2021 is expected to make up much of the lost ground as economic activity gradually recovers, consumption will still be 2.4 million barrels per day below 2019 levels, the report states. Adducing reason for the scenario, it stated that air travel industry depends more heavily than other sectors on containing COVID-19, which is unlikely to be completely achieved until a vaccine is found and widely administered. This could take another 12 to 18 months, the agency said.
Hello, it's nice to have you join us on the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) kept a date with history when it published its 2018 audited financial statement for the first time in 43 years of its establishment, in a bid to reposition the company as a transparent and accountable organization operating with performance excellence. The 2018 statements published on the NNPC's websites were signed by the Group Managing Director, Malam Mele Kyari. Our roving camera is out to sample the views of Nigerians who are the core stakeholders of the company on the published audited accounts. Are you aware of the recent publication of NNPC 2018 audited account?
That's a very huge development, a very massive development in terms of transparency on the part of public corporations in Nigeria. And the NNPC leadership, along with NAITI, should be congratulated for that initiative. But it is like the beginning. We hope it becomes a tradition and a culture where consistently they will be putting out these things in the public domain.
Yes, I saw it online and I went through it, and I think it's a very good one. I just hope other ministries can copy, and it should not just be in this regime. They should keep on doing it.
The idea is brilliant. It shows transparency, it shows accountability.
Mele Kyari promised when he assumed office that he will make the books of NNPC open. He will work more on transparency and accountability. Those are things we've been looking forward to from NNPC.
It is a beautiful development, a welcome idea. I really applaud the government for that, because it shows that the government are really trying their best to be as much transparent as they can be to the people that they should be accountable to.
We hope that it will permeate into some other agencies in the oil and gas sector, especially government parastatals. So we hope that they also will come clean. It's good that NNPC is leading by example.
Indeed, the NNPC's transparency, accountability, and performance excellence tape management persuasion of Malam Mele Kyari is working, and the NNPC is now an open book. And that's the much we can accommodate for the segments. Did you know segment is next?
Hello, thanks for joining us on this segment. My name is Faith Ayuba. Did you know that pipeline vandalism is the illegal act of puncturing or destroying crude oil and petroleum products pipeline to steal the products? Did you know that in Nigeria, the Petroleum Production and Distribution Anti-Sabotage Act of 1975 governs the petroleum vandalism law? Did you know that the Anti-Sabotage Act states that any person who willfully does, aids, incites, counsel another with intent to obstruct or prevent the production, procurement and distribution of petroleum products in any part of Nigeria will be guilty of the offense of sabotage? A person found guilty of petroleum product pipeline vandalism is liable to a death sentence or a term of imprisonment of up to 21 years. Did you also know that the effect of pipeline vandalism range from environmental pollution and ecosystem damage, fire outbreak, economic loss, plant and refinery stoppage, fuel scarcity, electrical power outage, and population displacement and loss of lives? Now you know. Don't go away. Crude Oil Outlook is next.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices ticked up after United States oil product stocks shrank, providing bulls with ammunition. Brent crude futures were up 34 cents at $41.05 per barrel. United States West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures rose 15 cents to $38.11 per barrel. Both benchmarks were down about 2% earlier in the session as worries about fuel demand rose after a surge in coronavirus cases led Beijing to cancel flights and shut down schools, and several United States, including Texas, Florida, and California, reported sharp increases in new cases. But the decline in the market then prompted more bullish investors to move in. A rise in United States crude stockpiles to a record high for a second week in a row weighed on sentiment, but United States government data showed lower inventories of gasoline and distillates, which include diesel and heating oil, indicating higher demand. Meanwhile, India's state-owned refiners are considering withdrawing some crude oil from storage and may even turn to the United States for imports as Middle East producers rein in supplies to comply with big Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC Plus production cuts. Tight crude supplies and a steep hike in Mid-East producers' formula prices for July have egged India's refiners, who import around 80% of their crude from OPEC producers. And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Owigo Okolo.
This is a major milestone. This is a good development that will ensure that our resources will be administered, for the benefit of all our people in a transparent and accountable manner. There's a shared commitment to transparency and accountability, and we celebrate that.
Thanks for joining us. That's been the Package for Oil and Gas Forum for this edition. Takeaway that is major is NNPC's audited financial statement for 2018. It's about responsibility, and we're still in the season for responsibility. Keep safe.